Usisahau kusubscribe, kucomment, kulike na kushare ili kuwa kwanza kupata habari mbalimbali kutoka Dar24 Media.
Kwenye timu ya Simba kuna mtu anaitwa Kelvin Mavunga. Huenda haonekani sana na haumsikii sana, lakini kazi yake ni kubwa katika klabu ya Simba, ambaye yeye anaangalia mapungufu ya timu yake, lakini pia timu pinzani, mwisho wa siku kupeleka ripoti kwa kocha mkuu wa Simba Ndiye na kuweza kufanikisha harakati za matokeo chanya kunako klabu ya Simba. Tunaenda kuzungumza naye kuhusiana na mchezo dhidi ya KMC, lakini pia na mchezo uliopita dhidi ya Yanga, mchezo ujao kuelekea kunako kombe la shirikisho la Azam kwa upande wa finali, lakini pia tunaenda kuzungumzia kinaga ubaga kuhusiana na kazi yake ndani ya klabu ya Simba. Karibu. Brother, how are you?
I'm good, how are you? Mambo vipi?
Poa, shwari.
Asante sana.
Kiswahili kinapanda kidogo kidogo.
Fresh kabisa.
Tupe mchanganuo wa mchezo wa leo. Comments about the game.
Basi game nzuri sana. I think we were technically disciplined and our approach to the game was very good. Mentally we were very much on point. And physically we looked very good. So tactically, our approach of the game, I think we knew we were playing a very good side, and KMC is a very good side. They can rotate the ball good enough, and very good ball retention from them as well. But we knew what they were going to bring on the table, and we were very much aware of their movements on the wide channels. So I'm glad that the way we responded to the game was pretty much a mark of a champion, because when you want to be a champion you have to set a certain standard, and I think the standard was there. The quality of play, the build-ups were brilliant, the challenges were on point. Of course there were a few other areas that we still maybe need to work on, but every game can't be 100% perfect. But for us, I think it was a good game.
Tell us how many percent left to reach the Tanzania Premier League trophy?
I don't want to be very ambitious, but it's a wrap. In other language we say it's a checkmate, meaning that with the points that we have accumulated today and the games that we have remaining, literally we are champions, because there is no way that Yanga can pass our goal difference. It's literally impossible. So I wouldn't want to make a formal announcement. You never know in football, unless if they want to score 14 goals in each game, then maybe they can be champions. But that means that they have to wait for us to lose games as well. Then there is no way the quality of Simba can lose the next 3 games. It's impossible. So it's a wrap, but obviously mathematically they still are in the fray to a certain extent. But if you want to be very realistic about the goal difference, then you have to tell yourself that Simba are champions. So we are waiting for the next game, just to make sure that there is no mathematical advantage to the opponent who is behind us. But literally from my perspective, it's done.
Tell us the challenges that Simba faced in a match against Yanga.
I don't want to talk about the Yanga match per se, and I don't want to think that we had challenges. I think that it's a derby. So when it's a derby, anything is possible. But what I can tell you is that we prepared for the match just like we prepare for any other match. We don't take any match for granted. If it's a small team, to anyone's perspective, but to us, we take one match at a time, and every game is important to us. So there's no way that we can deem a game bigger than the other game. Every game that we approach is bigger, because if you lose points on one game, it makes you it affects your run in the championship. So for us, even if we play a team that is placed on the bottom, we put 100% effort as much as we play a team that is just behind us. So to us, a derby, no derby, every game looks the same.
What was your weakness of your team in that game? Because you lose.
We still have to play Yanga in Kigoma. So if I say our weakness is here, it simply means that I'm exposing key areas which Yanga can count on. So definitely I will switch off and say I will not comment anything about Yanga. And for us, it's a work in progress. We still have a very big game ahead of us, and there's still a lot of work to be done. And even in the next match against Costa, it's a big match because we need to wrap it up. But the most important thing is that, you know, the whole team remains committed, and we still want to do more, and that's as ambitious as we are.
The future plans at Kigoma? It's the final.
It's work in progress, and obviously we have it in mind, but it's not what is important at the moment. What is important at the moment is for us to play Coastal and take 3 points and wrap this league without anybody taking pen and paper to say, did Simba win the league? Can they be champions with this number of goals and so forth? We want to wrap it up. So our bigger concern now is the next game against Coastal. We are not worried about Kigoma because it's not the next match, but we know that it's a bigger encounter as well. But if we take it now to say this is the bigger encounter without taking in consideration the next match against Coastal, then we have lost our plot. So to us, the next match we play is the most important match. One match at a time.
Tell us the difference between Premier League games, Confederation Cup games.
The difference is that when you play Premier League games, it's a marathon. So marathon means that from the psychological perspective to the physical perspective and tactical perspective, you see the difference between a cup game. A cup game, it's short and people are driven by different attributes, different motivations. Maybe other teams, they motivate by bonuses. Maybe other teams, they motivate because it's all they got to play for. But for a bigger team like us as Simba, we play every game the same. We play every tournament the same. We put in mind the fact that we have a big fan base and we don't want to disappoint our fans. So when we play, we are very certain and sure that we have to deliver. We want to be champions, whether in the league, whether in the cup game. So that's our perspective.
What is the lack or problem in our Tanzania football teams for the side of statics and some projects like Simba?
I don't want to think Tanzanian football is not growing. It's growing, it's developing, it's amazing. The biggest advantage we have is that every game is recorded. So it gives every team an advantage and chance to assess the next opponent. But in any given chance, you want to grow football, you need to be very strong in terms of development, football development. I have not seen anything progressive from most teams in terms of how they are, approaching the issue of development. We need to tap talent from grassroots as little as under 8. It's very imperative to have that. So there is not much development from the grassroots. So it's difficult to have players that are a complete project at a senior level because they don't have the basis, the grassroots. So if we start now developing a 13-year-old, 8-year-old, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, they're going to be high quality and they're going to produce a high performance because they have a good background. But most of the times our players develop a bit late. You see that a striker begins to be more prominent maybe at 26, 27, which is a bit late. We want to see 17-year-olds playing for bigger teams. We want them to participate in the league because they would have gone through a certain process of development, which is key. So the most important thing I would love to see in Tanzania is to have more academies develop. We want to see clubs not just having under 17 and under 20. They must go as far as under 15, under 13, under 10. So if most clubs come up with such a strategy, it's good for Tanzanian football. It means that in the next 5 years, 10 years, Tanzanian football will be bigger and better than it is today.
Tell us that experience that you got from Champions League games.
I think Champions League is an opportunity where you get exposure. You play with the best teams from different leagues. And we were lucky because we played different teams from the north to the south and then within our region. So we had a better opportunity to have a better understanding of what our opponents, how they plan their games, how intense matches can be if you're playing away, like the Kaizer Chiefs game. There were a lot of learning points for us. And I'm sure that from a tactical perspective, we are going to navigate gradually and start maybe early preparations to ensure that we do not find ourselves on another angle when we come for Champions League. We are very ambitious, and then we obviously want to prepare better for the next Champions League, since we are the champions in the making now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bwana, nilikuwa na Kelvin Mavunga, mtaalamu wa football kutoka Simba Sports Club. Tumezungumza mengi kuhusiana na mpira wetu, lakini pia kuhusiana na klabu ya Simba, alikadhalika na mchezo wa finali ya kombe la shirikisho la Azam kule Kigoma. Mimi naitwa Somba, hii ni Soka Base ya .info. Nyuma ya kamera nipo Baisa. Bye bye.
Usisahau kusubscribe, kucomment, kulike na kushare ili kuwa kwanza kupata habari mbalimbali kutoka .info Media.
Soka Base.